Sunday, June 21st is National Indigenous Peoples Day. Joining me now to speak a little bit more about it and what will be taking place in Cornwall to honor it are two members of the Cornwall Interfaith Partnership, Neil McMillan and Beverly Pike. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Beverly, maybe we could start a little bit with what is National Indigenous Peoples Day?
National Indigenous Peoples Day started as Aboriginal Day, National Aboriginal Day, and now it's National Indigenous Peoples Day. It's to honor Indigenous people in Canada, and the Cornwall Interfaith Partnership over the past few years has had events to honor this day. I remember Akwesasne itself a few years ago had Paul Martin come and speak at an event that they held on the 21st of June. This year, the Cornwall Interfaith Partnership is dealing with the missing, murdered Indigenous women and girls. It's been 1 year since the inquiry received their report, and nothing's been done concerning it. There's been no report on the, I believe it was 231 calls for justice, and nothing's been done with that.
Absolutely, and we can't understate enough how much this issue impacts the communities where these women are disappearing from. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about that and the impact that that does have on a Native community.
Well, Akwesasne has a number of incidences where women were missing or murdered, as well as men. I got the stats today, and there was 16 men missing and murdered, and there was 18 women in this community. I know of one man that's been missing for 40 years plus, and the family still has questions. Where is he? What happened to him? Nothing's been answered. And I myself had a brother that was murdered, and no one's ever been arrested for his murder. This happened in 1990 during the Casino War at Akwesasne. Last year, the Akwesasne Family Wellness Program had an event at the Port Theater where they paid tribute to the men and women that were missing or murdered. It wasn't just the girls, it's also men. So this inquiry was for women, but there also are Native men that have been missing and murdered, and nothing's been done to solve their murders if they were murdered.
Well,
a lot of cases.
I'm so sorry to hear that, both from your community, but as well as your own personal experience with this. And you mentioned the calls to justice, and there's certainly a lot in that report. And as you alluded to, none of it started yet. But maybe, in your opinion, where can we start working on this?
I believe that there should be more input from the women that did participate in it, and also the recommendations from them. You know, like involve them in the process that's going forward. Don't just leave them out because they said what they had to say, but talk to them about what they feel is needed to help resolve the issues that are there. It's so sad because I had a brother that drowned and was missing for 5 days. This was before my other brother was murdered. And I know what that feels like for 5 days of not knowing where he was and people searching for him. This happened on my March break. I was a teacher in Gunawaga, and I was on my March break in the middle of the week. He went missing at night. And I can't thank the community enough for looking for him, and they eventually found him. But it's the fact that he was missing, and I know what I went through for 5 days, and I can just imagine what the people are going through that have been missing someone for 40 years or 10 years. It's there's so many emotions. For the longest time, I couldn't go anywhere on March break. I had to stay home because something might happen. That's the fears that you have. And it's I can't explain it. There's a lot of emotions and loss of family and a loss of someone's life, what would they be doing if they had survived?
Absolutely, and that's something that transcends borders and race and religion. We can all put ourselves in those shoes, I think, to think about our loved ones and what would happen if we didn't hear from them, and whether it be for 5 days or 40 years. Now, as a community, what can we do, Bev? People right here in Cornwall, we saw over 1,000 people show up for a protest in terms of Black Lives Matter, but we've got our Aboriginal neighbors right across the river. So what can we do to maybe be more aware of this issue and other issues facing Aboriginal communities, and what can we do to be better allies to stand up for the rights and of our communities right in Akwesasne?
I think just to learn from it, like the Black Lives Matter, but compare it to the Indigenous people that are living in Cornwall and how they are treated by the outside, well, other people in the community. Let me just put it that way. I don't want to be giving people racial names or anything, but just human contact with each other, and don't look at a person, whether they're native or not, that they are how do I want to put it, that they don't have the same value as you would as a person.
Neil, maybe you could tell us a little bit about Sunday and what the Cornwall Interfaith Partnership is going to be doing to honor Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you. Well, we accepted the proposal from Bev to address this topic. And so Bev has chosen a film which is called Vanish, Lost Voices of Our Sisters. And this film was made recently by an Australian filmmaker who is Aboriginal. And what is striking is that this Aboriginal filmmaker from Australia found the same patterns of disproportionate violence against Aboriginal people in Australia, which is a heritage of colonialism. And so we're going to be showing that film. Prior to the film, we're going to have a little 5-slide PowerPoint presentation on the background of National Indigenous Peoples Day and the situation of missing and murdered Indigenous women, so that the people participating will be well and duly informed. And then we're going to have watch the film, and then we're going to answer 3 or 4 questions. And the questions are along the lines of what you've been asking, Bev. What is our role in this? What can we do to bring about change? And that will be the event this Sunday.
Excellent. So if people do want to take part in this, of course, due to the state of things right now, it will be done virtually, as the last couple of events through the Interfaith Partnership have been. But how can people find out more information if they do want to get onto this Zoom event?
Well, they can call me or Bev. Me might be better because I'm here in Cornwall. My number is 613-938-3875. But also you can email Cornwall Interfaith Partnership.
And so just to finish off, Bev, maybe we could have some final thoughts about what people should take away from National Indigenous Peoples Day, because we have to remember that our history here in Canada didn't start in 1867, and it didn't start with the Jacques Cartier or Samuel de Champlain discovering Canada. There's a rich Indigenous history right here in Canada that goes back thousands of years. So what would you like people watching to take away from National Indigenous Peoples Day?
I think just more awareness of the issues that Indigenous people face on a day-to-day basis in Canada or the US. Because Akwesasne is in US, Canada. And I know people have questions about why are they allowed to cross the border when it's been closed to everybody else. But people work on both sides of the reserve, so they have to travel back and forth. A lot of people on a res get their groceries in Cornwall. I mean, that's their our daily lives here is being able to travel back and forth and get our businesses done.
Absolutely. And if there's anything that we've taken away from both the COVID-19 pandemic, the recent Black Lives Matter movement, and hopefully now Indigenous Peoples Day and this event, is just to learn a little bit more about each other, have these conversations in a respectful manner, and just treat each other better. And on that note, I'd like to thank you both for joining me, and best of luck with the event on Sunday. And hopefully people will take advantage of the opportunity to learn more about our Aboriginal communities and the struggle that they're going through, especially in terms of missing and murdered women and men. So thank you both for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.